Discovery of a monster world. The council chamber of Helier Prime was never silent. Hundreds of delegates from every corner of the galaxy filled the tiers, their voices a constant hum of disputes, proposals, and negotiations. Yet today, silence reigned. The central hollow projector glowed, suspended in the air, showing a rotating blue and green sphere, a world called Earth. Classification results are confirmed, droned the Zalari Scoutmaster, his tendrils trembling with unease. The planet, designated Sol 3, has been evaluated at Class 20 Deathworld. A ripple of disbelief rolled through the chamber. Class 20? The term sounded like an error. No world above Class 12 had ever hosted advanced life. Class 15s were uninhabitable hellscapes, only visited by mining drones. Class 20 was unheard of. Counselor Varix of the Hursari clicked his mandibles in outrage. Impossible. The system must be corrupted. No sapient species could exist on such a world. The hologram shifted, displaying storm patterns swirling across oceans, vast deserts scarred by wind, and mountain ranges crowned with ice. Lightning storms flared in miniature as the Scoutmaster narrated. Planetary surface suffers extreme weather volatility, frequent tectonic upheavals, and high radiation flux. Predatory megafauna dominate multiple biomes. Microbial hazards are lethal to 90% of known physiologies. And yet, the projection zoomed closer, revealing sprawling human cities, glowing with lights. Sapient species thrives. Population estimated at 8 billion. The silence deepened. For once, no delegate dared interrupt. Counselor Eiler of the delicate Solari species finally whispered, 8 billion? On a world that should kill them at birth. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some shouted for quarantine, others for extermination. A few rare voices urged caution. All were drowned in the storm of disbelief. The chair's speaker, an ancient being of translucent flesh and drifting tendrils, finally pulsed for order. Explained their survival. The Zalari scout hesitated. Humans, self-designation, are apex predators. They adapt rapidly, utilizing tools and collective hunting strategies. They tolerate extremes of temperature, starvation, and injury far beyond expected biological limits. Their planet should have extinguished them long ago, yet they prosper. They spread into every environment, desert, tundra, mountain, ocean, even into orbit. Another projection displayed a grainy image, a human-built space station, fragile by galactic standards, but functional, orbiting above the deadly world. Murmurs filled the chamber, some awed, some horrified. Predators that leave their own world, muttered a delegate. What nightmare has the galaxy inherited? The council convened in closed session. Representatives whispered in private channels, trading intelligence and fears. To some, Earth was a threat to galactic stability, an unpredictable predator loose among prey. To others, humanity was a potential weapon, tougher, more adaptable, and more fearless than any conscripted species. And to a cautious few, humanity represented something else, a riddle. If they could survive a Class 20 world, what might they achieve with galactic resources? The chair speaker reopened the session. The matter of Earth requires resolution. Proposed actions? Counselor Varix, still bristling, hissed, extermination. Preemptive. If we delay, their expansion will poison the stars. A collective hiss of disapproval answered. Even the most aggressive delegates flinched at the idea of annihilating 8 billion lives without provocation. Counselor Eiler countered, voice trembling, quarantine. Seal their system. Contain them before they learn of us. A deep, resonant voice cut through the chamber. It belonged to Torgan, war leader of the massive Drakiri. Contain them? Have you not heard? They survived without us. Their weapons burn with nuclear fire. They orbit their world already. Containment is impossible. The words settled heavily. If Earth had already reached space without assistance, then isolation was only a temporary measure. At last, a compromise was suggested. Counselor and Resh of the Serene Lyrian Collective projected calm waves of light as she spoke. Send emissaries. Learn their nature firsthand. Perhaps humanity is not the terror we fear, but a strength we may share. A vote was cast. The motion carried barely. As the delegates dispersed, the Zalari scoutmaster lingered by the projection, staring at the little blue sphere. Monsters, he whispered, yet they smile. He was remembering a transmission intercepted from Earth's atmosphere. Old human radio waves, carrying laughter, music, even jokes about death. The kind of humor no other sapient race could stomach. To them, existence on a death world was normal. To them, danger was life. And somewhere, across the void, humans were already listening back. Their crude satellites had noticed the alien probes. Their scientists were deciphering the patterns. Earth was not blind. The Council thought they were sending emissaries to discover humanity. They did not realize humanity had already discovered them. First contact fractures. The alien envoy's descent was anything but subtle. Across Earth, telescopes and satellites tracked the enormous diplomatic cruiser as it entered orbit, its hull glittering with layered shielding and banners of a dozen species. News channels erupted. Governments panicked. Religious leaders proclaimed either salvation or the end of days. The internet, however, responded with memes faster than the United Nations could draft a statement. By the time the ship landed in the Nevada desert, cordoned off by uneasy militaries, the world was watching. Cameras caught every detail. The shimmering ramp, the strange geometries of the vessel, and the delegation of beings that emerged. Dozens of species, some walking, some floating, others gliding on repulsor lift harnesses. They expected awe. They found suspicion. President Howard of the United States was the first to step forward, flanked by generals and scientists. His handshake, extended toward the towering Drakiri war leader Torgan, was broadcast to billions. For a moment, history seemed to turn a page peacefully. Then came the second day. The aliens had assumed humanity to be fragile primitives, tribes barely holding civilization together. Instead, they found skyscrapers piercing clouds, aircraft breaking sound barriers, and nuclear stockpiles capable of annihilating continents. The Solari ambassador fainted when she learned humans lived comfortably in climates that swung 100 degrees within a year. Your species drinks water? Another envoy gasped during a scientific exchange, recoiling in visible horror. Unshielded? In such volume. To most galactic physiologies, water was an industrial solvent, handled only in sealed facilities. Humanity, it seemed, swam in oceans of poison and called it recreation. Cultural exchanges only deepened the unease. A demonstration of sports, rugby, ended with the Hussari delegate shrieking in panic as players collided with bone-crunching force. When humans explained these were games, not warfare, several species demanded clarification twice. The visitors struggled to reconcile what they saw. How could a people so reckless, so comfortable with danger, produce art, music, and compassion? How could they laugh so easily in a world built to kill them? Tensions boiled during the third summit in Geneva. Counselor Varix, the same Hussari who had demanded extermination at Helier Prime, grew impatient with diplomacy. He rose, mandibles clacking, and addressed the global assembly. Humans, his translator unit hissed, you're dangerous to yourselves and to others. For your protection, the Council may place you under supervised custody. This is the only logical course. The chamber erupted. Military leaders stiffened. Journalists shouted. One human general stood and, without waiting for the president's restraint, answered bluntly. We survived ice ages, plagues, and wars that burned half our world. We walked on the moon with machines you would call toys. We don't need custody. The Drakiri war leader rumbled a low laugh that shook the chamber, startling even his fellow envoys. I warned you, Torgan muttered to Varix. They are no hatchlings. But the damage was done. Across Earth, the idea of protective custody spread like wildfire. Riots sparked in some cities, demanding humanity refuse alien interference. Others marched for peace, terrified of provoking a war Earth could not win. Conspiracy theorists filled networks with claims of secret deals. The fragile balance fractured. Behind closed doors, the delegation fractured as well. The Solari and Hrsari lobbied for immediate containment. The Lyrian collective urged patience, seeing humanity's resilience as potential. The Drakiri openly admired human ferocity, suggesting an alliance. But darker whispers circulated. Intelligence reports hinted that certain factions already viewed humanity as a resource, ideal soldiers for wars too brutal for softer species. Others feared Earth might seize technology and spread uncontrollably, like wildfire. Plans were drafted in secret: surveillance nets, potential blockades, even surgical strikes. The human response was equally divided. Scientists clamored for access to alien archives, desperate to leap centuries ahead in medicine, energy, and space travel. Generals, meanwhile, dissected every glimpse of alien warships, mapping weaknesses, sketching strategies. In the midst of chaos, ordinary people revealed their nature most clearly. Some wrote songs welcoming the stars. Others spray-painted graffiti declaring, "We are not your pets." On internet forums, users joked about humanity being the galaxy's final boss. The climax came during a farewell banquet in New York. Delegates and world leaders dined under heavy security, exchanging polite words strained by distrust. Then, as wine was poured and translators hummed, an encrypted message reached the alien envoy's command ship. Humans had intercepted a council transmission, evidence of discussions about containment, even extermination. The leak spread within minutes. Screens lit up across the hall as human intelligence officers projected the translation for all to see. Gasps, protests, and curses filled the room. President Howard's expression hardened. "You come here as friends," he said, voice cold, "yet speak of cages and chains. If you believe Earth will bow, you have gravely misjudged us." The alien delegation, thrown into chaos, could not deny the truth. Their secrets were out. When the cruiser finally departed Earth's atmosphere, the world stood on a knife's edge. Some humans celebrated survival against intimidation. Others whispered of inevitable conflict. And yet, as the ship leapt back toward Helier Prime, one fact was certain: humanity would not wait passively for judgment. They were preparing. Humanity at the Council. The chambers of the Galactic Council had hosted delegates for thousands of years, but when the humans entered, silence fell as though the stars themselves held their breath. They came in a small delegation, escorted by armed guards whose very posture radiated vigilance. The humans were taller than most expected, their frames dense with muscle from a world that demanded strength to survive. Their eyes scanned the chamber with a predator's focus, yet their expressions remained controlled. For the first time in history, a Deathworld species walked among the fragile custodians of the galaxy. Ambassador Reyes led the delegation, a career diplomat with steel in her voice and calm in her manner. She bowed politely to the chair speaker, then raised her gaze to sweep the assembly. "On behalf of the people of Earth," she began, "we thank you for this invitation. But before we are judged, we ask only this: hear the truth of who we are." At her signal, the human team activated a holoprojector. Grainy images filled the chamber. Erupting volcanoes, hurricanes the size of continents, lightning storms ripping across oceans. The room stirred uneasily. "This is Earth," Reyes narrated. "Our home, a world that tried to kill us every day of our existence. Yet we survived." The feed shifted to show herds of elephants, packs of wolves, schools of sharks slicing through the sea. Predators, each fearsome in their own right. Gasps echoed when the projection zoomed in on crocodiles lurking in rivers, their jaws snapping shut with bone-crushing force. "These are our neighbors," she said. "We learned to fight them, respect them, and outlast them. We did not choose an easy home. It shaped us." The next footage silenced even the most hardened delegates. Images of humanity's wars. Trenches choked with mud, cities reduced to rubble, mushroom clouds rising into the sky. The chamber recoiled, some delegates averting their eyes entirely. Ambassador Reyes did not flinch. Yes, we have fought each other. Our history is scarred by conflict. But each time we rebuilt, we forged peace from the ashes. We endured. Finally, the projection ended with something unexpected. Hospitals, disaster relief teams, human hands lifting rubble to rescue strangers. Children laughing in the ruins of war. Astronauts floating in orbit, reaching for the stars with wonder in their eyes. Reyes' voice softened. We are not only predators. We are builders, healers, dreamers. We are human. The chamber erupted into debate. The Solari ambassador trembled, her translucent skin flashing distress colors. They are too dangerous. Their wars prove it. Their aggression will consume the stars. The Drakiri war leader, Torgan, rose with a growl that echoed through the chamber. No, their strength is proven. I see honor in their scars. They are worthy allies, not threats. Varix of the Hrsari hissed venomously. Allies? You would welcome predators who laugh at death? They will one day turn their fangs on us all. Illyrian representative projected calm waves of light. Perhaps it is fear that blinds us. Humanity has endured trials beyond imagining. Could they not also endure with us? Through it all, the human delegation stood in silence, absorbing every word. Then Reyes stepped forward again. You debate as though we are not here, she said. Her voice cut through the chamber, cold but steady. But we are listening, and we understand more than you think. She gestured to the humans beside her, soldiers who had survived combat, scientists who had survived disease, explorers who had faced deadly wilderness. You fear we are too dangerous. Perhaps we are, but consider this. If we were truly conquerors, would we not have turned our weapons on each other until none remained? Instead, we stand united today, not because our world is gentle, but because it is merciless. Survival taught us cooperation as much as it taught us strength. She paused, letting her words sink in. Then her expression hardened. But if your solution is to place us in cages, to destroy us before we take our next steps, know this. We survived Earth. We will survive you. Her words dropped like a stone into water, ripples spreading across the chamber. The council descended into chaos. Factions clashed openly, some demanding containment, others pledging protection. For the first time in centuries, the chamber threatened to dissolve into violence. A resolution was placed on the table by Varix and his supporters, containment strike, preemptive force, to ensure humanity never left its homeworld. The Drakiri roared in outrage. The Lyrians begged for reason. The Solari wailed warnings of catastrophe. The chair speaker struggled to restore order, but the tide was breaking. Fleets were being readied. Plans were being drawn. And through it all, the humans stood quietly. Ambassador Reyes' final words to the chamber that day were not a plea, but a promise. Judge us as you will. But remember, our world made us stronger than fear. Shaken foundations. The council chamber had never seen such turmoil. Delegates shouted over one another, colors flashing, tendrils flaring, mandibles snapping in outrage. The proposal for a containment strike against Earth had split the assembly into factions. Some demanded immediate action before humanity could expand beyond its system. Others warned that the strike would invite a war none could endure. And above it all, the humans watched in silence, their faces carved from stone. Beyond the chamber, fleets stirred. Warships repositioned near border systems, and intelligence reports whispered of strike groups preparing to enter Sol. Humanity's delegation received the news through secure channels, their expressions grim but not panicked. Ambassador Reyes gathered her team in the private quarters assigned to them. They're moving faster than we hoped, she said. If they launch, Earth won't have time to prepare. General Strauss, the senior military advisor, leaned forward. Then we must show them what prepared means. He laid out classified footage. The prototype FTL drive tests humanity had conducted in secret, crude but functional. Alongside them came schematics of orbital defense platforms, missile systems, and experimental railguns. Not enough to fight the galaxy head-on, but enough to make any aggressor bleed. Let them see we will not be caged, Strauss said. The next day, humanity revealed its hand. Ambassador Reyes stood before the council once again, her voice calm, her tone unwavering. You believe us helpless. You believe we are trapped on our world, waiting for judgment. You are mistaken. The hollow projector flared to life. Images of human warships, primitive compared to galactic standards, yet bristling with weapons, filled the chamber. Footage followed of test flights where Earth vessels vanished into folded space, reappearing moments later, light years away. The chamber erupted into gasps. We have already begun our journey to the stars, Reyes declared. Containment is not possible. Annihilation will only invite your own. The turning point came faster than expected. A small coalition of hardline factions, led by Varix's Hussari fleet, attempted a preemptive strike. Their warships slipped from hyperspace at the edge of Sol, weapons primed to cripple human defenses before they could respond. But humanity had anticipated the move. With the help of their hastily united governments, Earth's fleet was already waiting. Crude orbital cannons locked on, missile silos opened, and swarms of drones surged into space. The battle that followed was brief, but unforgettable. Human ships lacked the elegance of their foes, but they compensated with ruthlessness and ingenuity. Railguns tore through shields at close range. Missiles detonated in patterns designed to blind enemy sensors. When a Hussari destroyer closed on Earth's orbital ring, a human frigate rammed it deliberately, sacrificing itself to shatter the alien vessel. The Hussari retreated, battered and humiliated. The galaxy had witnessed it, a fledgling species standing toe-to-toe with an interstellar power, surviving where no one should have. News of the clash rippled across the stars. Species long accustomed to fragile peace trembled. Some whispered in awe, others in terror. If humans could resist a council fleet before they had even fully joined the stars, what would they be capable of in centuries to come? The council reconvened in chaos. The Lyrians argued passionately for humanity's inclusion. The Drakiri roared in approval, demanding Earth's warriors be recognized as equals. Even some who once feared humanity now hesitated, shaken by the futility of aggression. At last, the chair speaker called for silence. We have tested them, it said, its voice weary. We sought to break them, and they did not break. The intergalactic community must decide. Do we make them enemies or allies? The vote was bitter, contested to the last. But in the end, the result was clear. Earth would be granted a provisional seat within the council. When the decision was announced, Ambassador Reyes spoke not with triumph, but with gravity. Understand this, she told the chamber. We do not seek conquest. We seek a place among you, to share knowledge, to learn, to build. But if you come to us with chains, if you bring war to our skies, then you will learn why we survived our world when no others could. Her words lingered like thunder long after the humans departed the chamber. Across the galaxy, civilizations reevaluated their place in the cosmos. Some rushed to court humanity's friendship, eager to stand beside the Deathworlders. Others whispered of preparing for the day humanity's ambitions grew too large. The balance of power had shifted, perhaps forever. And on Earth, under the storms and sunlight of their merciless home, humanity looked upward, not with fear, but with determination. The galaxy had been shaken, and the survivors of a Class 20 world had only just begun.